What's up guys, and welcome back. It's Dave Bristow from Extreme Paint Studio. We finished the Reaper, so this is the final part of the Reaper. So hopefully you've got made your way through the first two. This is now the third one, so we bring in his hand, well basically the whole left hand side of the face, so hopefully you'll be able to complete that piece. We will come back and convert this into colour, so we're going to use the same picture, so we'll treat this as if it's an underpainting and we'll flip it into a colour piece rather than just a monochromatic piece. With this kind of painting, we don't really need to worry about skating or textures or anything like that. You know, even if we make a mistake, that's why skulls are a really good thing to do for beginners, because at the end of the day you're learning how to put textures in things and make things look more realistic, and You know, and it doesn't matter whether you make a mistake or not, because you can come back in and erase. So, you know, if you do make the odd little mistake here and there, it's not going to harm the overall image, because you, like I say, you can just embellish things, you can mess around. It doesn't have to be exact to the reference photo. You know, I generally draw, 9 times out of 10 I'll draw a shape of a skull, and that's it, off I go. And I'll just create my own skull rather than what's in the reference photo. I'll get a good idea from references, and as a beginner you want to be doing that anyway. You want to be bouncing off references, even like doing things like true fire and flags like that we've done, and starry skies and all that kind of stuff. Have a reference photo to work from, but it doesn't have to be, you know, verbatim. It doesn't have to be that exact look. As long as you come away with a nice piece that you're happy with, then we've achieved what we set out to achieve. So, you know, doing skulls and things like that, this is really flexible. I mean, there's no texture in my reference photo or anything like that here. So look, I'm just going to put some texture in, just to make it look that little bit older and, you know, rough like. I don't like smooth bone. I prefer to have it looking old, and then clean it up a little bit in the areas that you want to clean it up. Look at that skate. Whoa. Do I care? No. 9 times out of 10 when I'm painting bikes, I haven't got time to worry about those kind of things. I've got to move fairly quickly when I'm painting motorcycles, especially if it's a full-on project. I've got to move fairly quickly across that bike. So, you know, I haven't got time to be sort of thinking about, oh, I've got a little bit of a skate there, or I just need to keep moving. And like I say, the end result is I'll come out with a killer looking skull. Or, you know, as long as you're picking on where your highlights are and you got the right values in places. See, look, now where I had those crossed over lines, I'm coming in and wiping them out. I want to highlight on the top. So, and those lines are disappearing. So you kind of get used to what you know what you're going to wipe out. So the more skulls and stuff like that you paint, the easier they're going to become, because you can kind of see where you need to go to next. So don't worry if you don't get it at first, just keep going. And it will just get easier and easier. Might really become a little highlight there. See, I'm just making up that little highlight because I just want it to pop a little bit more along that edge, just so it stands out. Same here, just so it pops out. That's it. We can move on. Okay, so we want to put a little bit of a drop shadow behind that bit. Just there. And then we'll do one there. And a little one. That kind of outlines our knuckle. Now we can come in. Well, actually, I like that highlight there. I'm going to put one right there. And then push away from it. Yeah, look at that. That's just made that look like bone. I'm just going to punch through that highlight there as well and go further that way. That's a bit. And texture that up a bit. There we go. Let's put a little highlight in the middle, just to bring it in a bit. Oh, there's one on there as well. So I want to break these two fingers up. So I'm just going to put a highlight there, and I'm just going to drag it down the top of that one, just so it splits them up. Doesn't look like one then. And I'll put one in there and I'll just punch out. Soften it up a bit. Yeah. And I'll catch just the top of that one, that nail that's going behind. Maybe a little bit there as well. Okay, let's get that. Let's punch in there. Just in that bit there and there. Punch it round. And punch that round. And punch that round. Maybe come down that edge a little bit, as if it's catching that edge. Soften it. There. Okay, so where we had our skate there as well, as I said, it wasn't that important because we got to come down and put all these lines in anyway. Just clean up the outside of that. We're eventually going to be turning this into a colour piece anyway, so I'm just cleaning it up. I had a little bit of a skate there, but that little, yeah, like there. You see how I'm using just sort of part of the shield, tiny little bits of the shield, just to get everything that we need in place from a protecting the background perspective, and then I'll work on the inside. Let's put a little bit of texture in these ones above, just a little bit. So all we've done was we just put a few lines in that top nail, and then all I'm going to do is pick on that top edge. Just drag it down. Just to give it a bit of a shine. And we can pick up on maybe a little bit here. Maybe just the top edge of that one. There we go. Still soften it, just in areas, just soften that bit there. Come back in, maybe join that up, soften that top bit there. Let's give that a little bit of a lip, just add something in there. So even that was a conscious decision not to join that up. Just, you do things, the more you do skulls and stuff like that, you know, you kind of make decisions as you're painting. Just where you should put highlights and where you shouldn't put highlights. So I even moved the shield as I was spraying then, look. So I moved it across as I was spraying. So I didn't have to stop and then go again. Hopefully it's coming together. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. Starting to struggle with that airbrush now. It's that nozzle's completely gone. You can see how far the needle is poking out the end of the airbrush. So getting thin lines now is becoming a bit difficult, but to be honest, over the years I've managed to use whatever's put in front of me, because you can't always have a perfect airbrush. Just going to soften that up a bit again. I mean, it's giving me kind of thin lines, but then it's kind of hit and miss whether I can get a real thin line or it's just going to go for it. But hey ho, we're getting the job done, and it's still coming out pretty neat. Have to tidy up a bit more than I normally would, but what we want to do now is in the wood grain behind, we want to create this highlight. So we want to get a nice, so I'm using the glass fibre because it gives me kind of split lines. I could use like an X-Acto knife, but it wouldn't give me those kind of wood grain sort of look, whereas this glass fibre will. So all I'm doing is pushing, and it's giving me that kind of split wood look. I'm not going up into the shadow too much. I'm going to come back in and shadow that anyway. So, hint of a shadow in there. So I'm just going lightly in the darker area. And then I'll come back in and shade where I need to shade. So like this is casting a shadow on that. So I'll just eat into my glass fibre work ever so slightly. Push that one back because it's behind. And then this one, just eat into the top of it. And just darken up behind it. And then the same here, I'll just miss this left edge. I can use a bit of paper just to shield that bit. Okay, and then same here. Just sort of missed it. Okay, then we can come in with our drop shadow underneath the finger and just push down towards our highlight. And then same here, use the curve and just push up ever so slightly into the drop shadow above. I'm just going to miss this left edge. This kind of tapes off into our little runs. When we come to do this in a full colour, I might bring in the bottom half anyway, just as a cloak. Or we might do something completely different. I don't know yet. I'll think about it while it's sat there and I'll decide what we're going to do. Just darkening up this edge a bit more. Right, let's get that going. And then we'll do the same on that side. Okay, come in, make sure that matches that, and then drop shadow it. Looking good. Right, what we're going to do is we're going to be a bit creative on the cloak area. So I'm just going to grab the glass fibre I'm going to start just tearing a few bits off, having a few loose bits. All just looks too neat for me. Doesn't look eerie enough. So I'm just gonna, I'll fine tune it in a bit. I'm just going with my own sort of what's in my head. Right, just play about with that a little bit. So we can come in and we can do some loose bits, real sort of loose threads. Just same with that bit there. And obviously where I've brightened up the front now, I've got to brighten up going backwards a bit. So it might be worth putting some waves in. I'm going to put some tears in the top anyway. I want this looking like it's in light anyway. Might have to get a the dual eraser, the pink and blue, and really rub some of that out. But I'm gonna have that flip over and then come in. I want that bit in shadow and then this bit out. Let's get my dual rubber. Okay, so this is the dual eraser, what I was saying about. So this we can rub out quite a lot and it's still sort of smooth. So kind of softens everything up. You can see that'll get you right back to the board. along that line and up. And all I'm going to do is just come in these and just start sweeping them back. Just want to get that. Just open that up a bit. I'm not really worried about too much about this cloak area anyway. It was more the actual skull face and hands and stuff. This cloak can basically just blend off into the background. Might add a few tears in it, just to give you an example of tears. See, so if I've got to wipe out a fair bit, this is where this big rubber comes in. Sorry, a razor. Yeah, that's now in light. But then what we'll do is we'll come in and we'll shade certain things. Like I say, I'm not spending too much detail on this anyway. Let's put a little bit of a tear in there. So we're just basically Just going to create little holes in the hood, because we're going to roughen up. We'll roughen up this edge anyway. Just play about with it, guys, and just sort of make up your own how you want it to look. You know, just use this as a guide, and then just kind of make it up, really. There you go, it looks a bit rougher. And it kind of goes with the lines that we got coming down here as well. We can do a couple off of here. Just do it as if it's catching as well. Glass fibre is probably not the right thing to do, because, like I say, it gives you that double line. It's great for like wood grain and things like that. Like this wood grain we can really bring out now with the X-Acto knife as well. So I know I'm jumping around, but I'm seeing stuff, and as I see it I attack it. Just pull some of that wood grain through. So this is great when you got a dark background, you can bring the white off into the background as well. There we go. Just adds a little bit more detail. Let's go back to our tear. Told you I'm all over the shop. So we've got a bit of a tear going on. Let's put another one up there, just a little one. The skating actually helps. In fact, we'll do one going to another. And then we can come in with our glass fibre, the same again. We just pick up on the edge, however you want to do it. You could use the X-Acto knife again, and you just run, make it a jaggedy edge. So I'm making one edge kind of jaggedy, and then I'll come in with the X-Acto knife and I'll put our little fine little threads in. Same on here. Get that edge in, throw one out, just and then push it back a little so it's not so in your face. Just dust it. Alright, dust that little bit there. Maybe dust that, dust that, dust that, just so it all comes together. Okay, so just to make life a little bit easier and to save overspray and stuff like that, I've just put a bit of application tape because we want this to be fairly sharp. And this should be the final part really to finish this piece off. I'm just going to get a large shield, see if I've got one here that will give us the shape that we need. Yeah, we can manage it with this shield. Okay, and we might need a slightly different one. Let me get this shield here because it will allow us to. It's probably too big, this shield. Might use this little one here. Yeah, we'll use that one. So I've just put some application tape on our sickle or scythe. I'm not quite sure what you call them, but I'm just going to come in now and start bringing in this line here, which is, if I show you on this side of things, I'm just going to do just a light pass. So I'm just hitting that side of the line. Don't want it too dark. And then let's use that. Bring it to the point. Make sure you got the right kind of shape. And then turn it. Just so we've got that side of things, but I'm going to come on the inside of it. So just going to come around here and really darken it up. Find your shape, move it around. My arm might be in the way, but I can't do a lot about that. Let's see if I can use this for the remainder. Yes, I can. So here we go. So we got that nice sort of blade, and then I'm just going to use a little shield just to come out of this bit. Just have a little bit of a ridge, and then we'll come around again. Yeah, that kind of matches it, but I want the reverse, so see if I can do it with this one. So find your shape and then just move it over. Like that. Then I'm going to have another one sort of here. Coming up, and then we'll go again. Want that perfectly slightly to come round the corner there. So you can bring it to the tip. Okay, and then we'll shade it. Just in that bit there. I will shade it a bit more at the top, actually, on the top edge, because I want to erase a little bit out of it. So I'm just going to put a light mist over. That's it. And then we'll do the same coming down here. But we'll bring it to a point. Like that. Then we'll shade it again. And then we got this skull character, or Reaper character, but a smaller version. By hitting both sides, it's allowed that to sort of pop. And I'll do the same on this one coming in here, so I'll just hit the middle of it and push out, and then the one underneath, and that's it. I think our Reaper is kind of done for now. We're going to go back in with some colour, but what I need to do is when we go to convert this to colour, we will need to lighten up some of the face, because look, this shading in here is too dark to put another colour over the top. So we'll lighten it up a bit by erasing, and then we'll bring the colour in. But that's it for this one. I hope you really enjoyed this one. It's really quite detailed, and it was a fun one to do.